Now we're going to talk about the framework of PYP. PYP is a framework that we place all of the things that we've already been doing into a structure that allows us to do it to the best of our ability. So all of the project-based learning we've done, all of the different social skills, soft skills, 21st century skills, everything they call it, that we've done in the past is going to be put into a structure that's easier to work with, okay? And the difference is that with PYP, it is the premise that all students are the agent of their own, and when you hear the word agent, that means their ownership of their own learning. So this tells you to give the children the ability to decide how they're going to learn, maybe how they'll present stuff. It gives more agency to the student, which is a wonderful thing because we still work within the standards that we have at the state level, and we use these things, but within those, as you know, as a teacher, there is lots of latitude. So this just really focuses on what the children are inquiring about. It also prioritizes people and their relationship to build a strong learning community, which is a word that is in almost everyone's mission statements. But what does that really mean? Well, this really hones into that premise. When we get into this, you're going to see all these different words that you'll be like, oh my gosh, do they always have to throw 1,000 different words in there? For some reason, yes, they do. And one of the things that's really frustrating to me are all the acronyms. Acronyms drive me crazy, and I specifically ask in meetings, what does that acronym mean? And you would be surprised how often that people that do these acronyms have no idea what they mean. But we have IB, PYP, MYP, DP, POI, UOI, and ATL, plus quite a few others. One thing, though, that you probably will want to understand is IB, PYP, MYP, and DP. Now, with Longview, we had the IB program for quite a while, International Baccalaureate. Well, when we decided to go down, the other ones that are in the IB overall program have specific names. PYP, primary program, primary years program, see? So that's all the way pre-K to 5th grade. MYP is middle years program. That goes from 6th grade to 10th grade. Then your DP and your IB, those are your 11th and 12th grade. Those deal with diploma programs or IB programs. So really, there are only 5 true elements of the PYP program. Attitude, which are our learner profile attributes. These are all of the things that we want the children to walk out with having intrinsically within them, and we'll get into that. Knowledge, transdisciplinary themes. PYP runs on the fact that there are 6 different transdisciplinary themes that we will cover every year. Every grade level will cover these, but obviously they'll be covered differently because a 5-year-old's mind and a 12-year-old's mind are completely different, and the standards and the knowledge that we need to teach them is different. Key concepts, that's how it's taught, talking about the form of something, the function of something, the connection between you and I, skills, that's how we learn. Teaching them how to learn. Do you use research skills? Do you use communication skills? And we'll talk a little bit more about that. Action. Now this is the real underlying cause for all about IB. I believe that I am teaching students to go into the world to become human beings that are going to prosper our world and also prosper themselves, to become fulfilled, happy human beings that can work for the benefit of the whole society. So that's what these actions are about. Now that you've learned these things, how are you going to put it in action? That could be as simple as picking up trash off the ground because you've learned about that we should recycle, or that we shouldn't be, we should take care of our environment, or we should take care of our classroom. It can be very simple things, all the way to building a well in a different country that maybe needs water, or cleaning up the park here in Longview. So it can be anything that your child gets from your lessons and puts it into action. Very important part of our program. Now we're going to look at just each one of these a little more in depth. as a new person to PYP, we don't want to get too overwhelmed, but when you walk into your classroom, when you go into your team meetings, this is what your teams will be speaking about. So you need to have the knowledge of it. They'll lead you through the process of actually making the lessons and making the planners. So the first thing is like, how does PYP work? Collaboration. This is what I was just talking about. When you walk into your meetings, you have a significant amount of time with your partners and you all have to work together. Then you say, well, wait a minute, I was hired to teach math. That is correct, you are teaching math, but you're teaching it in a collaborative way that is going to incorporate all of the different single subjects together, and that's called transdisciplinary learning. That's where everything melds together. So, units of inquiry, let's start with that. A unit of inquiry is several weeks in-depth exploration of a concept. Students will inquire into a central idea or a main understanding by being guided by lines of inquiry, okay, which are the teacher's questions and their questions that the teachers have already set up. As schools get stronger and stronger, they might come up with this with their students, but at this point what most people do is we develop them as teachers, and we have them all developed before the year even begins. Right now when you walk into your team, they already have these. So what they are, and we usually do it by 6 weeks because we're just a 6-week school, so that makes it easier. 6 weeks, 6 themes, works well. You do not have to do it that way. You could have a 4 6 weeks, an 8 6 weeks, well, not 6 weeks. You could have a 4-week program, a 7-week program. However, we find it simpler just to keep it 6 weeks by 6 weeks by 6 weeks. The themes are who we are, how the world works, how we organize ourselves, how we express ourselves, where we are in place and time, sharing the planet. Now these are our 6 themes that you will cover year after year after year. And you can see just the broadness of what these things are. I mean, who we are, you're probably 90 years old thinking, exactly what do I think or believe? So it's really a wonderful way to express that. But it goes more than just who I am. Who is our school? Who is our city? Who is our nation? Who is our world? Who are we within all of these groups? Who am I in my family? Who am I in my classroom? All of these things work together. So you can see how this is a huge way that we deal with it. Now when you're looking at it also, you can think about how we organize ourselves goes with who we are. How does our police department work? How does, do we have a principal? Do we have a head of school? Do we have a vice principal? Do we have a curriculum support specialist? This is how we organize ourselves. And this is very important in the classroom, especially. It gets good into teaching students about different tasks and putting them in different roles. Our key concepts. Now to me, this is just the core of what everything is, because it's basically all the things that you're teaching. Form, what's it like? So if we looked at like a pencil, form, what's it like? Well, it's oblong, it usually is about this big, it can get taken down, it's usually made of wood, or though some people like electronic pencils. Is that better for you? What's it like from the beginning? Does it change? Oh yeah, it does change, which goes down into this. As you sharpen it, it gets less and less. Why is it not this thick? Why is it this thick? What's the better thickness for you? How does it work? What's its function? Its function is to put things onto paper. Can it have different functions? Oh, I want to hold the door open. I'm going to stick it in here for a second. Oh, I'm nervous. I'm going to chew on it. There are lots of different functions. I'm angry. I'm going to break it. Maybe that's not the best function, but it can be a function of that pencil. Change. We've already spoken about how it changes as it gets sharpened down. So there can be changes in it. Also changes in what we first had, where we would stick a piece of quill into some blueberries and then write, or into blood and then to write, or however that we did the different things. So it has transformed into a more modern section. Connections. How is it linked to other things? Obviously, it's linked to writing, which is linked to ideas and how we express our ideas and how we get them out there. So the connection between a simple pencil and the whole world is actually very great. Causation, why is it as it is? And that kind of goes back into why is it so big? Why is it little? Why did we even have to have it? Why can't we just all just talk to each other or call each other? Why in the world would we even need a pencil? Perspective, what's my point of view about the pencil? And when we get into this about a pencil, you might think it's a little corny or whatever, but you could have a discussion between the people that really like the standard pencil. They really like to have a pencil that has glitter on it. They really like to have the electronic pencil. Different perspectives on that. And then also you could go into causation and connection on your perspective also. What is my responsibility? Am I supposed to have a pencil every day in school? Am I supposed to get up and sharpen it? How? You know, do you just get up in the middle of my class and start to sharpen your pencil and disrupt everyone else? Or, you know, what is the rules about our responsibility with our pencil? So you can see how with something as simple as a pencil, you can hit each one of these concepts. But obviously we're talking about much greater things like force and motion and atmosphere and all types of different things that this can get so deep and meaty and wonderful and give the kids a lot of opportunity to use agency, ownership, over how they're going to learn it and what they would like to learn. After the key concepts, we are going to look at your learner profile attributes. A lot of times people call this your learner profiles, but it's actually a learner profile. And the profile has each of these attributes within it. This is one of the quickest and easiest ways to implement your PYP for their understanding, is to begin using these words for what the attributes we want the student to know. These are attributes that we will instill and praise in the student, the staff, the organization, all different things if you'll use these words. We want to be inquirers, knowledgeable, thinkers, communicators, principled, open-minded, risk-takers, balanced, reflective, and caring. These are what we want the students to go out of the classroom when they graduate from Longview High School or Nettie Williams Elementary School. We want them to come out with these attributes in their heart and their mind of who they are.